Hey guys, J-Games here again. This is going to be what if Naruto had all the Eternals' abilities. Now, I recently watched the Eternals, but I didn't like it too much. But, um, I'm not going to name whose abilities are whose, because I don't care about memorizing any of that. But if you guys recognize any abilities, just comment them down below. So I do include, the Eternals that aren't even from the movie. I just include Eternals from, the comics, too. So yeah, I'm going to go over how the Eternals would choose Naruto. In far, far universe away, called the Marvel Universe, we eventually would have the Eternals, who will all eventually do whatever they need to do to pass on their powers. But they basically hear about some rumor in some distant universes, realities, whatever you want to say, about the clan called the Otsutskis. And this clan, basically, they have the abilities to actually just have these eyes that can change reality itself, or warp it, or just shoot elements. The eyes are basically endless in power. So they want to choose a vessel in that verse or that reality to actually, defeat these Otsutskis. Now, they don't know how powerful they could be, but they're not going to underestimate them. So they'll use their combined power to actually channel in multiple abilities into this one vessel that they would choose. Once all their abilities are channeled, they'd fire it off in this reality. In this reality, it would eventually hit a baby who was recently born. Now, this would actually land like moments before Hiruzen arrived, but Minato had already died. But Kushin didn't even see what landed. She just saw some beam of light. But the beam of light hit Naruto, and yeah. So with this, eventually we would go on to see Hiruzen arrive and begin the same words from Kushina. Basically, the baby's name is Naruto. Please take care of him. So with this, Hiruzen would take care of Naruto for 4 years before giving him his own apartment and letting him stay there on his own. But the thing is, Naruto gained a lot of abilities just from the Eternal's power at birth, like super strength, durability, reflexes, speed, flexibility, his intelligence. Everything he has is above natural. But yeah. Pause. Okay, so Naruto's now 4 years old. This is an apartment and everything. He also gets enrolled into the academy. Now, one important thing: Naruto would have celestial energy, but also chakra. But with celestial energy, he'd get chakra that's basically just godly. Like his chakra wouldn't even have the color blue; it'd be yellow. But with his chakra basically being godly, it'd purify all elements he would use. Like for his wind release, it'd actually show off to be green instead of being just no color. It actually would be this green wind, but in exchange is 10 times as powerful and move a lot faster. Then when it comes to his fire release, it'd be blue. Or if it came to earth release, it basically gives him just automatic steel release, but he can turn whatever earth release he has into steel, diamond, or he can just control gems. Basically gives built-in crystal release, built-in steel release, everything. But he also just turn his earth release into stone, steel, diamond, whatever he wants to. And then when it comes to lightning release, his lightning would basically turn into light, or can just turn into light, just like a golden lightning color. Golden lightning has a bit more damage, while then it just turns into light itself, and it adds on the same amount as the golden lightning damage, but then it also adds on burning damage and light speed. And then he also would have lightning, fire, earth. His water. So water really have much of a change besides him being able to control the the attributes of the water, where he can turn it into some kind of poisonous substance. When it comes to water release, you can turn it into poison release, or poison release or something like that, but also just syrup release or sticky release, kind of that kind of stuff. But then when it comes to yin yang release, his body kind of just has mastered automatically. But yeah. Also, the academy graduates will be a lot older, as I'm going to age them up. By the time they graduate the academy, they'll all be roughly around the age of 16. So yeah. So we move on to just when Naruto's roughly around 13. Around 13, Naruto's known as basically the smartest and strongest in the academy, even proving to be above some Jonin in power and intelligence. As he regularly outsmarts his senseis, he regularly outsmarts Iruka, Mizuki, a lot of them. He also shows off to actually be able to use some kind of jutsu to even just to need to concentrate for it, but it's basically just him being able to move things with his mind. So they kind of think it's some weird Genkai that he has. Also, his durability proves to be pretty impressive as he's tanking fireballs from Sasuke left and right. But yeah. Yeah, also, this means the Uchiha Massacre would be later in the story. So, the Uchiha Massacre would have happened when Sasuke was roughly he's like he'd be 16 when he graduates. So, Uchiha Massacre would have happened when he is so happened 6 years before the canonical story of Naruto began. So it would happen when he's around 10 years old. At this point, Sasuke he's been 3 years without his clan. Yeah. Also, Naruto actually also proves to be able to fly using Earth Release, or he says it's just Earth Release. But he can also control just matter or just molecules in his body. But also, if he's able to actually like get a hand on you and having a focus, he can actually just control the matter and molecules of your body as well. But controlling the molecules in his body actually allows him to regenerate. So yeah, and also just create things out of thin air. And then he also create illusions, which actually gives him S-ranking ninjutsu, shockingly. And then he can just see like he can heal people as well. And then he's also a good martial artist with taijutsu, proving to be around the same level as Rock Lee 24/7. Imagine if Rock Lee was a Hyuga, kind of what Naruto can do with taijutsu. But he's also a swordsman. And all he also can just create weapons made of chakra. Like they don't get like any color or anything. Chakra's supposed to be golden, then you can create like a bow made of like a golden aura and just fire it off. And then he actually also proves to be able to control some kind of, I guess. Pause real quick. So there's like with very little technology there's in the Naruto verse, Naruto can actually control it. It actually does allow him to actually kind of like a whole secret like superhero base of a thing where he just has a lot of it by himself. So he has like a whole basically like a whole superhero base in one of the Hokage faces, but no one knows how to get in there. So yeah. He's also immune to diseases and also just poison itself too. But also doesn't really age. Like by the time he reaches like the age of like 33 in Boruto, he won't age any farther. That's like the maximum age his body will allow him to be. Then you can fire off just energy as like just wind, fire, electricity, etc. But you can also do that in the form of chakra as well. But yeah, that's really just it. So yeah, now we move on to Naruto 16. So we go on to Naruto when he's 16, and he would graduate as rookie of the year, getting his headband, and given the rank of getting like regular. So I guess you're creaking. The Betamon kind of sucks, and it's smaller than my other one, but my bedroom is being used currently, so I'm in this room. The creaking or anything is kind of just my bed sucking completely. Yeah. But yeah. So basically, we go into Team 7 getting Kakashi as our sensei, and they'd all kind of be relaxed. When it came like Kakashi arriving late, Naruto actually should be able to already like use free walking and water walking pretty efficiently. So it's kind of just sitting on the ceiling meditating. But eventually we just see we eventually do see Team 7. Well, they see Kakashi arrive, and yeah. So eventually, when pause. So eventually, Kakashi arrived. He brought them on the roof and asked what they like. They just like their dreams and their goals. Naruto basically said his dream probably become the strongest shinobi to ever exist. His goal, currently world peace. His likes, kind of anything. He doesn't really have anything to hate. People may not like him. He doesn't care. He likes them. Kakashi kind of came up with a smile under his mask, realizing that Naruto is a very positive person, despite how strong he is, and didn't go to his head at all. He doesn't care how strong he is, doesn't matter. So yeah. So with this, basically, eventually, Sasuke then just kind of scoffed at Naruto, kind of just calling him a hero, saying, "Oh, if it isn't the normal hero, or if it isn't like the elitist hero," calling Naruto basically an elitist. The fact that he thinks that Naruto's from an elite clan that may have been above even the Senju. But yeah, that's kind of just it. So he kind of just makes fun of Naruto, or tries to make fun of Naruto. But Naruto's smiling, saying, I guess I am a hero. Whenever anyone in Konoha needs me, I'll be there to help them." And Naruto was also actually a bit more popular than Sasuke, due to the fact that what he said is true. He helps anyone in need. He's popular among the boys, the girls, everyone. Even Hiruzen has needed Naruto's help at one point, because the Anbu couldn't do a mission that wasn't assassination or anything, but like there's like this guy threatening him, and Hiruzen actually wanted Naruto wanted like Anbu to investigate him, but they couldn't do it. The guy was untouchable, so Naruto did it for him. So Naruto already proves to be above the Jonin and the Anbu Black Ops by himself. So Hiruzen already has Naruto like promoted to the Anbu once he passes the Chunin exams. So with this, we move on to when Team 7 is roughly probably just the belt test the next day. But Sasuke to say his current goal is to beat Naruto. His future goal is much bigger than that. Despite being Itachi, he has a much smaller goal than beating Naruto. Hell, touching Naruto is the smallest goal, not smallest. Even grazing Naruto is the biggest goal he could ever accomplish. Yeah, sure, you can graze him with a knife and his skin won't break, but making Naruto even get like a small scrape is the greatest goal you could accomplish. Because Naruto's the guy to tank lightning bolts like it's nothing. So, yeah. Like Kakashi slammed a Chidori into Naruto's chest right now, and Naruto's off guard, and the best it could do is probably just give him like a light bruise. It's kind of all it could do. So with this, we move on to just the belt test the next day. Sakura also did say she likes Naruto and Sasuke, then her dislikes would just be Kiba. But we move on to the next day where the belt test will be going on. Naruto guessed that Kakashi would arrive late, so he arrived during the time that they were expected to meet. But he brought food for Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura asked Naruto if they weren't supposed to eat, but Naruto thinks Kakashi was going to be late. Kakashi was going to be late either way, and he thinks this may be a part of the test. Because he felt Kakashi was lying in some way, and he guessed it was about not eating. They gave them food, and they ate. Sasuke actually does trust Naruto's intuition, because Naruto hasn't really been wrong once in his life. So Sasuke ate, then Sakura ate as well. Kakashi arrived, raised their food settled, and they felt like their food was settled, and they feel like fully healthy, ready for a battle. But also sees that Naruto is like throwing away these bags of food. That made Kakashi smirk, asking Naruto to give them food, and Naruto had nodded. Kakashi kind of mumbled under his breath, saying, You already passed, Naruto." But suddenly, he then held the bell, so explaining everything, and then he said, "Start." Before Sakura was about to question it, he held Sakura's mouth shut, saying, No, he knows how to pass, just trust him. Then he actually mumbles, mumbles only loud enough for them to hear, but basically says, the whole point of this exam is to basically, use teamwork. He says that he'll be a distraction, and actually press him. All they need to do is get the bells. Sasuke nodded, and also Kakashi doesn't pull his book out. This is actually them not being young. They're young still, but it doesn't mean a bit older because they graduated a bit later and them having better skills. Well, actually, it's actually just putting his book away to show them a bit of respect for all their years of training. But Kakashi graduated in the academy when usually goes to the academy when he was 9 years old in this one, not 5, but yeah. So with this, eventually we would see basically Kakashi say start and Naruto dash at him full speed. Naruto actually slow down halfway through to give Kakashi some edge, and he punched at Kakashi, but Kakashi dodged using his just dodged. But Naruto's speed and strength actually almost kind of cut the headband right off Kakashi. Cut it from the thread all the way up to the steel, cut it clean in half. Kakashi jumped away, kind of holding his head while he's bleeding a bit, and then just realized that if Naruto landed that punch and didn't intentionally slow down, his skull would have been crushed in a sense. Like Naruto would have completely crushed his skull. Naruto then appeared with Kakashi slamming his foot into the ground as hard as he can, making a giant shockwave. Kakashi was actually pushed away by the shockwave, so Naruto appeared above him, slamming him onto the ground. Suddenly, Sasuke dashed by with Sakura, and they both snatched one of the bells. Sasuke spun around with Sakura as they both nailed Kakashi right in the gut, and he couldn't escape because of Naruto holding him down. Once they both nail Kakashi right in the gut, he's knocked out, and Or I think he's knocked out until he realized that he poofed into a log. But Naruto didn't care. He pointed out where Kakashi was till suddenly he just says, told them all to cover their eyes. They did it till suddenly a giant blast is fired, and a giant explosion is heard. Kakashi's in the air, basically just covered in blood, bruises, and a bit of burns. Asking what the hell that kind of jutsu that is. Something Naruto ended up beating one hand seal before a whole tree trunk is flipped up flying at Kakashi. He just basically used Chidori to cut right through it. And he realizes that Naruto is still holding back, and he's still about to kill Kakashi. Until Kakashi realized that he didn't move from his spot just yet. He found out that he didn't move at all. He remembers he's behind the tree. Yes, he didn't feel himself moving at all. He just felt like he was light. Naruto ended up laughing, saying, "Kakashi, you all right there?" Kakashi walked up from behind the tree, realizing he doesn't have any bells. But then he looks at Sasuke and Sakura, who are kind of just sitting down. As Naruto then says, "That was just a really good genjutsu. You weren't fighting at all. The moment we destroyed the substitution, I put you under genjutsu." Kakashi had just sighed, saying, "Good, because my heart is racing to the point where I think I may die from a heart attack." He sat down, and Naruto then said, "Don't worry, just relax." Kakashi had nodded, and Naruto basically ended up asking them if they should go get Hiruzen for a D-rank mission. They say yes, as Naruto disappeared, and then they ask Hiruzen for a D-rank mission as they explain how they passed the exam. Hiruzen shocked Kakashi himself was put under genjutsu by Naruto. Then again, Naruto is probably on the level of an Anbu captain, possibly Kakashi's exact level, so that's why Kakashi may have actually had them pass the exam. So yeah. So with this, we move on to just a month and a half passing of just D-rank missions going on. And, yeah. After these missions, basically, Naruto would have, he'd been bored, but he wouldn't tell Hiruzen or anything. He has enough respect for him to not say anything at all. But also, you know how, like in the beginning of Shippuden, I believe, Kakashi would go to, Kakashi. Not to gloat about how Kakashi was smarter than Shikamaru, was better than Kiba. He could do these many things better than most people even if it's their clan ability. You can say that about Naruto, but on the 100 times of the level. Shikamaru's IQ may be, say his IQ is 300. Naruto's IQ can be 800, and it won't matter. Then it can be, he can smell better than Kiba. Cool, he can sense a whole continent away. Who cares? Yeah, Naruto's whole thing is he's just a league above everyone. Kakashi even assumes that Naruto's above Hiruzen, and he's right to assume that. But also how old they are, they're able to do a few C missions. They do roughly around. This is the time that they meet Tazuna. They've done roughly, with how fast missions can end, and they can do multiple a day. They've done roughly around 112 D ranks and around 40 C ranks. They've done the most out of Konoha 12. So we move on to just Tazuna walking in eventually, and he actually is kind of nervous about them. But Naruto's attitude and personality actually eases him a bit. Naruto doesn't look like this just yet. It's kind of what he wears under his normal clothing. Naruto prefers to wear the regular Shippuden clothing, but it's more all black. But then the sleeves have stripes of white. Stripes of orange on them. So his jacket stripes of white. There's orange on the side, but small stripes, not the big ones. But also just wears black Anbu pants and just wears this right under it. But yeah, so with this we move on all the way on to just what was it? So Land Waves. Eventually we go on to the Demon Brothers to be the most important thing. And Tazuna actually felt pretty safe with Team 7. Sasuke actually had emitted a pretty strong intimidating aura. Sakura actually calmed him down a bit with how calm and bubbly she is with this team. Naruto was actually very confident and actually reassuring attitude and made Tazuna feel completely safe that this was the best team for him. Naruto and Sasuke both feel intimidating, but one of them is actually intimidating dead set on safety, while the other one's dead set on safety, but also making sure Tazuna's comfortable. While Sakura is actually making sure that everyone's comfortable the whole mission. But we eventually do see Kakashi, who eventually would they all notice the puddle, how old Sasuke is and how evolved with his power he is. Also, actually how the chat being clouded a bit later. She's actually able to figure out how to use the Sharingan a bit earlier. So he already called this one again. Jutsu, he called it, knowing that Naruto probably felt it. But actually, Naruto kind of walked closer to Tazuna and Sakura actually kind of able to tell this again Jutsu as well. Actually, they both began pushing Tazuna back a bit until the Demon Brothers actually emerged. But Naruto just dashed forward full speed, which let me fist in one Demon Brother's chest, and everyone had heard all the ribs shatter out loud. That you sent flying to a tree, Naruto spun around, only to see Sasuke jump right under his leg, upcutting Demon Brother right in the jaw so hard that the mask and the jaw broke. Then Naruto walked over before healing them both, telling them, "Alright, do you want another beating, or should we get info?" Now, before the Demon Brothers could actually give any more, before you get an answer, one of them just yelled, before one Demon Brother could give an answer, the other one just yelled, "Go to hell, we're not telling you anything." Before Naruto slamming his fist in the guy's face full force, and everyone recognized the sound of a skull being shattered. But still, Naruto healed him again, saying, "Alright, answers." Then Naruto was shaking, saying, "There's someone else ahead, Zabuza Momochi and Haku Yuki. Please don't kill me." And Naruto said, "Good." Because we didn't really throwing him into his brother, and everyone had heard more bones break with that throw. Naruto said he'll go ahead and solve it. They should just go slowly. He disappeared and reappeared in front of them around 10 minutes later, holding the executioner's blade with Zabuza and Haku both tied to his back using very thin string. So with this, basically, the brothers, well, not the brothers, Zabuza and Haku were beaten up pretty easily, but they should just be kind of broken into pieces, while Naruto has like a small baggie in his shinobi pouch, I guess. But Zabuza basically got his blade punched into pieces, and Naruto nailed him right in the face, and was trying to kill him, but was enough to knock him out in one punch. Well, Haku usually kind of tracking Haku's pattern for a bit, that's why it took him 10 minutes. Tracking Haku's pattern, he eventually held his hand out before lightning formed around it, shooting at Haku, and nailing Haku right in his whole body, killing him. Not killing him, or healing. I think he said healing, not killing. Beginning shooting Haku, they not being getting info from Haku, as Zabuza basically told Haku to give him info when he woke up. Haku leaked all the info they had until Naruto just stopped shooting Haku and healed Haku, and then brought them tied them to his back, saying he'll bring them to Konoha now. There's no one strong up ahead, so this should be it. He brings them both to Konoha, then has them put in the prison, then he goes back to Team 7 in just minutes. So, yeah. But actually going to chakra control training where Sasuke's kind of, he has the basics down, but doesn't know how to do it properly. Like, he can, like, shakily, but that's really just it. But not to help Sasuke with it, then Sakura got taught by Kakashi, which she learned it in, like, a second. So, yeah. So this whole time that Sasuke was training, we actually was Chidori training. Well, why don't you actually be helping Sakura Taijutsu training? Mostly being getting a bit more physical in the training, just because Sakura's kind of, she got a question on Naruto, so being getting herself a bit more physical in contact with Naruto, which actually did make him blush a lot. The fact that he doesn't have a crush on anyone, but he's shocked that Sakura would do this. So yeah. Also, mention this in Naruto, but with longer hair. I shouldn't find one when Naruto having longer hair. So eventually, Naruto talked to Inari, with Inari being a bit older. But Naruto was actually able to like reinstill hope in Inari, saying that Naruto starts to be a hero who would save everyone in a second. Naruto says, "If you can save everyone in a second, once you save us from starvation." So Naruto just suddenly disappeared and reappeared in around an hour, holding tons of food, fish, boars, anything, and yelled, "Everyone feast up!" They all began crying. Well, not Team 7, but basically everyone else in the village was crying. Naruto basically holding his hand out over basically a large pit of fire, or a large pit, and putting fire into it. And with this, well, they all began eating once everything was cooked properly. And alright, thank Naruto says, "See, I solved your hunger, right?" And Naruto had nodded before hugging Naruto's arm, calling him Big Bro Naruto. Naruto rubbed Inari's head before eventually, well, a few days passed and Gato and his men arrived. First, they were harassing Inari's mother, but Naruto had just woken up from his nap, walking up, punching one of the brothers, but one of the bandits so hard that everyone, like, the force of this punch landed, everyone heard the sound echo throughout the hidden village, the land of waves. Naruto turned around, grabbing the guy's blade before twisting out his hand and cutting him right in half. But I'm not really sure to cover Inari's eyes as he did this, so, yeah. He will then just shot fire out of his hand, incinerating the bodies, telling Inari that it's okay to look now. Inari had lowered Naruto's hand, and then could see there's just ash around with a blade covered in blood. That Naruto just basically spun at rapid speeds before his shinobi gear appeared on him, and Inari asked Naruto what the hell that was, but Naruto said he moved so fast that they couldn't see him, so, yeah. At that, Naruto eventually had gone over to basically where Team 7 was on the bridge, and, well, there's beating all Gato's men half to death. Even Sakura actually proved to be pretty useful. So, yeah. So, eventually we move on to the Chunin exams, and, well, Zabuza and Haku were actually released, just, they were not allowed to kind of wield Hibikiri Bocho anymore, and they actually had to be proper shinobi of like they had to restart the rank again, basically. But on condition that Naruto had brought them in, she says no matter if he fails or passes the exams, he'll be given the rank of Jonin once the exam is over. Then move on to Naruto walking into the exam room. Also, Kankuro and Temari don't bully Konohamaru. Konohamaru at this point is already in the academy at a lower rank and actually able to escape Kankuro's grasp, but he did get nervous and run away out of fear. Kankuro's about to chase Konohamaru, so Naruto grabbed his arm, throwing him to the side, and is escorting Konohamaru away, and just telling Kankuro he shouldn't bully the third Hokage's grandson. Which really shocked Kankuro, but yeah. So with this, we move on to just Rock Lee punching at one of the basically Naruto or Sasuke, but Naruto because he's Rookie of the Year. But Naruto actually let Rock Lee land the punch, and Naruto actually was shocked how strong Rock Lee is, despite him not even budging. Rock Lee looked up at his fist, realized it was throbbing, and the Naruto didn't budge a single centimeter even. Naruto said, "Wow, you're really strong." Before actually punched, like flicking Rock Lee, and that portion of his flick had enough strength to actually outmatch like 10 different Rock Lees. Rock Lee fell back holding his head kind of dizzy, and Rock Lee eventually hit the ground unconscious. Did I do that too hard? Before healing Rock Lee's head. Rock Lee stood up kind of dizzy, saying, "What just hit me, a hammer?" Then Neji jumps down saying, "No, his finger." And Neji I just want to fight Naruto too, and Naruto agreed, as Neji went all along his Naruto using every single one of his powers, only to have Naruto stop them all with one hand, clapping them away like it's nothing. It's not even one hand, just 2 fingers. By the time he's done, Neji's panting covered in sweat, and Naruto's not even grazed. But eventually he just basically just 2 fingers coming in Neji's gut, and Neji coughed up, not blood, but just coughed, kind of threw up as well, but yeah. Eventually healed Neji and Rock Lee to full ability, asking them if they're okay. He nodded, but my guy appeared saying, "You shouldn't show off your full ability to everyone in the room." Naruto just said, "No worries, I put them all under Genjutsu the moment Rock Lee attacked me." Immediately everyone's jaw dropped beside Team 7, and then Sasuke then says, Can you show off a little less?" Naruto says, I'm not showing off yet. I'm just saying what I did." Sasuke then says, You're too much of you for your own good." Then he brought Naruto into the exam room, as they'd already seen through the Genjutsu. And Rock Lee just says, "Jay-Sensei, I need more training." Guy says, "Rock Lee, I don't want to say this to you, but I think I can't even beat him, even if I went to the 8 gates." Team Guy's jaw dropped, and Guy then says, "Sorry, this is sad truth. He's one above us all. I can say that confidently." But with this, eventually we go on to Team 7, who goes on to they go on to pass the written exam pretty easily. Naruto did in seconds, honestly. He has over 1 trillion thoughts per second. It doesn't matter. His thoughts are basically separated to at the same level, so how many thoughts he can have in 1 second, he got this test done in minutes, like at the best 4 minutes. Turned the paper and then just sat down and then analyzed everyone in the room for a split second before leaving. Sasuke and Sakura, being a bit older, could actually handle this test, but eventually they did turn it in. Well, Sasuke kind of made Ibiki see an illusion of writing, but then Sasuke put the paper down, the illusion was broken, and Ibiki realized that Sasuke didn't fill even half the paper out. Like 3 questions were filled out by him. When Ibiki chuckled, and Sakura actually filled out the whole paper. For using the same trick on Ibiki, as the last answer was just left blank. So yeah, Ibiki's just shocked about Team 7. Well, Naruto just genuinely passed. Sasuke and Sakura are just really good with illusions. But eventually, Hinata would turn in her paper, and yeah. Well, so by the time everyone turned in their papers, it's been like 40 minutes or so. So they didn't get records or anything. Just only Naruto got a record, but that's really it. But eventually, they all get down there, take Force of Death, where they're just waiting. And Naruto told Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata, who arrived, about everything that he realized. So they told them everything. Well, Hinata, she thanked Naruto for this, and told her team the weaknesses. But Hinata, she wanted to get on Neji's good side, because Neji's still hating her. When she told him everything, she's shocked that she knew this, and she thanked her for it. But he does ask her why she helped him, because she said that we're family. So Neji's opinions of Hinata changed a little bit, but not too much. So we move on to just roughly about I'm gonna say that we move on to just about when Naruto using the bathroom before to death and the Hidden Rain team attacking him, he just basically one tapped them all like just very swift 3 punches and took them all out. But they didn't have the scroll that he needed. They go on to the point where they're attacked by a snake. But Sasuke spun around, stabbing his sword like right through the snake, but then coding it in lightning release, as he was actually taught that by Kakashi first. Lightning release actually was able to defeat the snake, as Sasuke sent it like right into his brain, killing it. Naruto then said that Sasuke shouldn't have wasted time on that. It's a summoning animal. It would have been taken out from one strong strike. I was thinking that's Naruto what he means by summoning until it just poofed in thin air. From there, sorry about that. Because something flew in my mouth and I began choking on it. I hope it wasn't a fly, but just like dust or something else. But something went in my mouth and it made me choke. But Orochimaru was just at Sasuke full speed, hoping to grab Sasuke. And Sasuke had a Sharingan activated, hoping to grab the eyes. All Naruto put his hands in front of Sasuke, and for Orochimaru it was like moving in slow motion, but in average speed, and he couldn't dodge it still with how average it seemed to be moving in speed. Then Orochimaru's face is just grabbed, and Naruto held him in place. And Orochimaru realized he couldn't escape this. Like, Naruto's grip is unbreakable. If you imagine, like, it's not even Tsunade using 100 healing to break Naruto's grip. Not even Madara Susanoo will break Naruto's grip. That's how strong it is. I'm telling you right now, with how durable Naruto is, like, it would take at least a meteor to crash on him for him to even get grazed. So this man's durability is through the roof. And Kuruma's even impressed by it, because Naruto isn't fazed by Kuruma at all. He's met him once and didn't even care about it. So Naruto would basically just have Orochimaru hold him down, asking Orochimaru why he went for Sasuke Sharingan. It's just Naruto basically just like talking like saying, "I need your body to keep on living." No, not even thinking really hard, as he actually hangs out with Hyusen decently, just like for tea or for lunch. Like, whenever Hyusen brings Naruto's rent money, he actually talks to Hyusen for a bit, just to have a decent conversation with him. And then I mentioned Orochimaru and how Orochimaru was conducting these weird experiments with people. Naruto ended up getting a sour look on his face, and then actually a pitiful look, saying, "Such a shame that a great student of third Hokage resorted to becoming such a scumbag of a human being." He actually told Sasuke and Sakura to look away. He doesn't like them seeing the side of him. Sasuke got nervous, but Sakura said, "Sasuke, please let him do his thing." She turned around. Sasuke even turned around as well. They didn't cover their ears, so they turned around so they couldn't see. But Naruto's shadow was beginning to actually cast over them, with him over his head, and tearing Orochimaru's head off to the point where even his spine came out with his head. I think Sakura got more of a shocked look on their face in the shadow. Then you hear a loud thud, and this Naruto says, "Let's move on." Dash forward, and Naruto actually had a trick up his sleeve. So Orochimaru using a snake, but kind of mumbled to Orochimaru, "Put the snake in your body." Orochimaru did that as Naruto tore his head off, and the snake can regurgitate Orochimaru once they were out of earshot. Orochimaru actually scoffed as he regurgitated himself, saying, "That monster is like Hiruzen. He doesn't have the guts to kill me, but he has the guts to beat the life out of me, or beat me half to death." Then he actually vows to kill Naruto, and doesn't care what you can do while he wants to kill Naruto with every bit of power he has. But the thing is, he doesn't know one thing about Naruto. He's scarier than Itachi, which actually means that Naruto may be a threat above Itachi. He doesn't know he'll have to be training for a long time to even beat Naruto. Well, he actually leaves and then tells Rasa that there's a strong opponent in Konoha, who actually he couldn't even beat. Rasa actually got nervous about this, as Orochimaru's probably stronger than him, and then she asked if they should call off the plan, and Orochimaru says yes, the plan should be cancelled. Rather than Konoha Crush is cancelled, then he leaving the exams being pretty normal, actually. The moving to the tower as Naruto took Orochimaru's scroll before killing him, or quote-unquote killing him. They were doing counter Team Dosu, but Orochimaru called off the orders to attack them, so yeah, Team Dosu fought them pretty normally, but not going all out. But if they went all out, even like they didn't struggle with Sakura individually with how strong she got with Taijutsu. Plus a bit of healing in ninjutsu as well. But Sakura beat Kin, Sasuke beat Zaku, and Naruto just one-tap Dosu with a bitch slap. That's really it. So with this, we move on to just the preliminaries where we actually see Rock Lee. Rock Lee just fight against Gaara, and Rock Lee being a bit stronger is actually able to fight Gaara, actually on par with Gaara, being even stronger than using the gates. So with this, the fight between him and Gaara actually ends in a draw fight, Gaara being stronger than Kanan, so is Rock Lee. So yeah, so Rock Lee kind of ended, the fight kind of ended in a draw, but Rock Lee has one badly broken leg. One badly broken leg and a scratched up arm. That's kind of all he has. But the thing is, people that end this fight is Naruto actually tanked the last attack that Gaara sent out. Everybody's like, Naruto will actually tank the whole attack, realizing he's not even scratched by it. But then he picked up Gaara by his neck, asking Gaara why he's trying to kill Rock Lee. Gaara then says, "We're shinobi, we're supposed to do this. Our purpose is meant for fighting and killing." But Naruto's name is Naruto Uzumaki, and his dream is to end this pitiful world of shinobi that we live in. He says that he's encountered many shinobi that are the same mindset as Gaara, and he refuses to let that go on. Gaara, of all people, should be the one that's most pitied. And that everyone should be aspired to be better than this, so they don't need this pity. They drop Gaara, and Gaara's eyes widen in rage that Naruto said he needed to be pitied. Gaara then yelled, going into hybrid form, attacking Naruto. Once Naruto punched Gaara so hard that his fist went straight through Gaara's chest. Or not through it, but into it. Blood poured out of Gaara's chest as Gaara fell to his knees, kind of throwing up blood. But right ordered on Gaara and began healing him. Naruto then says, "This is my version of pity, letting you live. Now, from now on, you live with the fact that you were defeated by a Jinchuriki who didn't even have bother going all out against you. Do you understand me, Gaara of the Sand?" Gaara can't help but cry at this, and then just nod slowly. Naruto walked away, healing Rock Lee, and Rock Lee not thanking Naruto for this. Rock Lee stood up shaking a bit. Just that Naruto had actually one tap to Gaara, so yeah. Actually, Gaara's wound is healed due to that Naruto's using chakra into Gaara's chakra just to heal him. Gaara felt even more distracted, but realized that he couldn't do a thing to Naruto if he just punched through the sand like it was nothing. Tamari and Conqueror actually asked Gaara if he's okay, but Gaara then said no, he's not. He's terrified. He's angry and terrified. Next fight will be Naruto vs. Kiba, where Kiba actually just says he submits to that it was Naruto vs. Kiba. But despite that, Kiba telling him, "Come on, Kiba, just one friendly match, and I won't hit you, I promise." Kiba says, "Fine." As they jump in the ring, Kiba attacked Naruto, with Naruto only dodging, promising not to hit Kiba the whole time. But he blocked when Kiba strikes with one finger before actually telling Kiba he's just going to throw him. And he tilted his finger one direction really fast, throwing Kiba into a wall, head first, and then knocked out Kiba. Now, it wasn't anything too bad. Kiba just actually hit his head hard enough to actually knock him out, but there's no concussion or anything, just a bruise on the head. That's really just it. So yeah. Pause. Alright, where was I? Yeah, so he threw Kiba into a wall, just giving Kiba a slight bruise on the head, but it did knock him out. Alright, Kimberly Hinata versus Neji, and Naruto jumped in the way, blocking the final strike from Neji. Alright, where was I? Yeah, when Neji about to deal the last strike to Hinata, Naruto basically put his hand in the way, and Neji hit Naruto's hand. The thing is, everyone knew that Naruto probably had this handled. So when Neji hit Naruto's hand, Neji broke all of his fingers. Naruto yelling in pain, only for Naruto to grab his hand and heal it. Before Naruto hit Neji like the neck, hard enough to knock him out, then he healed Hinata fully. Hinata thanked Naruto, she didn't pass out, her being fully healed, but yeah. And no one has actually had to leave the exam room or leave the room because Naruto heals them all perfectly. So yeah, eventually we go on to probably just past this to about, I didn't say, probably just the one with the training for Jiraiya. So we faced Kirito Sakura versus Ino. I think I had to go over this with Sakura being able to actually compete in taijutsu with a lot of fighters. And Sakura in taijutsu is on the level of Chunin exam Rock Lee when we first meet him in the original story when he's 13. That's how much training she got from Naruto. So Naruto style taijutsu is like a mixture of Wing Chun, Tai Chi, Jeet Kundo, and boxing. It's like a mixture of all the Naruto style. But despite that, he's actually a really good swordsman to the point where he's basically a samurai. So yeah, that's just Naruto. That's Naruto's attributes. But yeah, so Sakura training with Naruto, she got really good. Actually able to beat pretty easily. She's like a few cuts from like Senbone that put in her hair. That's really just it. But yeah. Now this we move on to roughly about just one of the training with Jiraiya. Like Naruto just met Jiraiya, pulled him away from like the hot spring, telling him don't spy on women. But I pointed out, oh, you must be Naruto. He doesn't want me to meet you. Naruto tried to tell who this is just by the headband, realizing this is the great sage Jiraiya. Naruto immediately bowed down, apologizing for disrespecting him, and Jiraiya just nodded Naruto, saying, "It's no worries, kid. It's nice to meet you. I've heard a lot of good things about you. How about this? You trained with me for the whole 1 month." Naruto agreed, and well, Naruto actually got down something pretty easily. He actually summoned Gamabunta the first try. But then Naruto summoned something else to the point where he summoned, well, I don't know, it seemed like a giant man thing, but there was no sign of it being a man or a woman. Kind of just seemed to get the physique of a man, but there's no genitalia on it. Kind of just looks like a Titan. Titan has one eye, and the Titan kind of charges up chakra in one eye and fires out a beam of any element it wants to. It also seems to be capable of doing ninjutsu. No chakra has actually made a summoning contract with the thing, and there's no realm it summons too. It just summoned into a small scroll. So yeah. Then eventually after this, Naruto also made contact with Gamabunta, and yeah. Now let's move on to roughly last month of training, last week of training, and Naruto actually proved to get better taijutsu for Jiraiya. Jiraiya's happy with how strong Naruto had gotten, actually just called Naruto probably a genius, better than the fourth Hokage. And Naruto thanked him for that, saying he did beat the fourth Hokage's record for the written exam and for the academy written tests. And just all the tests in general, he broke everyone's record. I just smiled at this. And well, during 1 month, Naruto and Jiraiya got so close to the point where Jiraiya even calls Naruto his son. It was accidentally called Naruto's son. And Naruto smiling, after this point on, he just calls Jiraiya grandpa or dad. And Jiraiya can actually be happier about this. Naruto actually being such a people person, actually not annoying, but knowing how to make people like him, it doesn't mean to, but he can play a really good mental game of people. So, in reality, he actually getting people like him pretty easily, and that actually had kind of worked on Jiraiya, even Sasuke. So yeah, so Naruto's able to get Jiraiya to like him, and Jiraiya eventually actually had a father-son relationship with Naruto. Where Naruto actually offered to actually let Jiraiya adopt him, and Jiraiya actually had no problem with this. So in the meantime, before the exams began, Jiraiya actually wanted to adopt Naruto with Hiruzen, and Hiruzen agreed. Even though it's only a 2-year thing, because Naruto's about to turn 18 in 2 years. Actually, around 1.5 years, actually. Right now, it's about midsummer, so Jiraiya has until that time to adopt Naruto. Until it's Naruto's 17th birthday to adopt him, actually. It's his limit, and Jiraiya agreed to adopt Naruto immediately. With this, Naruto's adopted by Jiraiya, then the exam begins. But Naruto got in Gentle Fist, kind of like Sile for Neji, told Neji that he has a similar martial art to Gentle Fist. It's just he won't be as brutal as Gentle Fist is against Neji. Then Neji attacked Naruto, and Naruto and Neji got along pretty well, actually. Well, it seemed like they were, because Naruto was able to get Neji to soften up a bit. So yeah. But eventually, once Neji and Naruto finished the fight, Neji was hit over and over again, and Naruto was hit once. Neji wasn't he was in a bit of pain, but not excruciating pain. You feel like you get punched in the arm by a friend. Neji he got hit like that all over his body. But that's Naruto's intention. He's gonna hit Neji a few times to make it look real, but no one knows that Neji it doesn't really hurt that much. But Naruto's long game, he's going to wear Neji out. As Naruto's about to hit him with the last strike, Neji feels he's panting, saying he can't fight anymore, he can barely even speak. With that, basically Genma ends the round, saying Naruto Uzumaki's the winner. Naruto ended up helping Neji up and in the stands, saying there's no serious injuries besides a bruise. So yeah. Now we move on after this to roughly about I'm gonna say we can move on to what would it be? So we can probably just say we can go on to just the next fight going like Sakura versus Shishino. The fight kind of uneven. Sakura wasn't we couldn't get a question mark. And says that Sakura can get a fight in the semifinals. So that can be like first place from the first person semifinals. And with that, eventually, actually, like when Kankuro said he forfeits not Yanchino, the fact that he don't want to win his puppets, and Yanchino, the fact that Shino uses bugs. That actually just proved to be experienced with bugs. Kankuro could actually tell he'd probably lose this fight no matter what. So yeah. So with this, eventually move on to probably just I'm gonna say. We can just go on to Sakura for Shino in that fight. Sakura actually, she beat Shino but barely beats him. It's pretty tiring for her. The next fight was Sasuke versus Gaara. Gaara, like, Rock Lee actually said they wanted Gaara actually be included in the fight and be the winner, and they all agreed to this. So this one, Rasa isn't dead. It's the real Rasa, the thing, because the whole Konoha Crush is called off. They actually have a different strategy. During this time, Orochimaru actually been training with Rasa, even injecting Rasa with different DNA, even giving Rasa a curse mark. And honestly, all this can do is put Rasa pretty close to Orochimaru's canonical power in this arc. But that's really just it. They put him close to it, not exactly there. But the thing is, Hiruzen would have no qualms killing Rasa at all, actually. So there'd be no problems with it for him. But yeah. So with this, we move on past this to roughly about, I'm going to say, probably just when they all leave after the exam ends. Naruto was declared the winner, and Hiruzen jumped down giving Naruto a Jonin vest, shocking everyone. But as Hiruzen wants to give Naruto the vest, he pulls it back, before pulling a mask out of his pocket, revealing that Naruto is now given the rank of the head of Hiruzen's personal Anbu guard. Naruto basically ended up crying of joy, thanking Hiruzen, while bowing down to him, calling Hiruzen the best Hage ever. So Hiruzen could help Naruto to his feet, saying that Naruto didn't need to thank him. It's all the best he could do. So yeah. Pause. Alright, so as they're all leaving, Naruto basically ended up getting an Anbu vest from Hiruzen as well, and then the mask and the sword. And after leaving, suddenly everyone's playing their Genjutsu, and Kabuto would dash right towards Hiruzen first. But suddenly Rasa would dash at him as well as Kankuro, Temari, and Gaara would head towards Naruto. Sasuke jumped in the way, creating a 3-2 Sharingan, yelling Chidori, stabbing Gaara right through the stomach with it. Naruto ends up coughing up blood, but he expected this already, using his hyper-performed Shaku, cutting Sasuke across the chest. Sasuke tried to avoid it, and thought he could, till the hand expanded and cutting him across the chest. But his knees holding his chest, as Sakura would catch him, kick at Gaara for Kankuro to step in the way, blocking the puppet. But Naruto immediately just flew in the air. Actually, he's kind of acting like just his eyes activated with a yellow glow, telling everyone this is going to end now. Whereas beams right at Gaara's, it actually burned off Gaara's arm, making Gaara yell in pain. Beam fires the beams right at Rasa and Kabuto, who both get hit in the back by him. Rasa isn't dead, and Kabuto isn't either, but they're pretty badly burned. Naruto basically held his hand up in the air, so everything, all the weapons that were around were put into his hand. Then basically aimed down at them, telling them that from now on, the Hidden Sand and the Hidden Sound will be under the Hidden Leaf's command, do they understand? Immediately, Orochimaru dashed at Naruto full speed, went for kind of a yellowish aura to appear around Naruto's hand, and he dashes full speed ahead, hitting Orochimaru right in the face, right in the chest. Everyone just saw the clouds part with the force from that punch. And also everyone heard the bones of Orochimaru's body just shattering. And then Orochimaru hit the ground, basically not being able to move or barely even breathe. Really, not to be in reading everyone's mind with one of his abilities, and told everyone that he's not going to hurt any of them as long as they don't move. We'd say everyone from Hidden Leaf was actually was able to be free and run away. And they all did just that, because the Genji was broken by Sakura. Once they all leave, he basically created an illusion under everyone that's kind of an enemy. Once the illusion was put under all of them, he basically was using it to scare them. It's kind of just wanted to scare them with the Genjutsu, but with the illusion that he can create. That's not even Genjutsu the level that it has, so I'm not going to call it a Genjutsu. It's much more than a Genjutsu. So yeah. Pause real quick. So basically, this illusion was much more than Genjutsu, so I'm not going to say it's Genjutsu. Like, even if it's the lowest ranking illusion that Naruto can cast, it's already above an A rank Genjutsu. But he's the most powerful one he can imagine, as this one would be like qualified as like a quintuple S rank. Like, it's above an Infinite Tsukuyomi level Genjutsu. It's just he can control it whenever he wanted to. So when he releases it, Orochimaru, basically everyone's the enemy, just bows down on the ground, apologizing to Naruto. And Rasa ends up saying, from now on, the hidden sand is under the hidden leaf's authority. Nothing said, what else? Rasa said, the hidden leaf owns all the hidden sand territory. Then you look at Orochimaru barely got up, being able to, kind of healed a bit. He got healed a bit by Naruto. Enough for him to speak. He then says, the whole hidden sound territory is property of the hidden leaf. Nothing said, good. All weapons within the got sent flying down on the ground, surrounding everyone that's an enemy, telling them from now on, not from now on, but from now, they should actually focus on rebuilding the damage they caused to the hidden leaf. Now, if you actually think Naruto, actually, we'll talk about Danzo's route to Naruto. Telling them about what they do, and Naruto actually disagreed with it heavily, saying what they do is good, but they take it to an extreme level. He was actually asked Naruto a favor that he's been regretting for a long time. He exposed everything with the Uchiha Massacre to Naruto, and even his suspicions about Shisui. Naruto said he can get Danzo to admit it, as long as Hirusen's able to get Danzo in here. But he also wants Sasuke to hear it. It does make Hirusen a bit nervous, but he agrees. But Naruto says, don't worry, Sasuke will be under strong genjutsu, and he'll kind of have all intentions to attack removed from his mind for a bit. With that, Sasuke would be in there with Hirusen, but Hirusen kind of asked Danzo to tell him everything about the Uchiha Massacre. And Danzo said no, he can't do that with Sasuke Uchiha in here, it's kind of confidential information. I say it's actually very calm, saying no, he needs to know everything until Genjutsu put under Danzo from Naruto, like Genjutsu just an illusion. And Danzo spills everything he has. Even about Shisui and the arms that he got from Orochimaru, the eye he got from Orochimaru, but Sasuke isn't attacking because the illusion that Naruto has on him. And then Sai saying, this illusion is powerful, isn't it? Naruto suddenly walked out, snatching out Danzo's arm, and then snatching off his arm and snatching out his eye. That he kind of held onto the arm before kind of just healing it. And Naruto doesn't know that the power that he has with healing, kind of healing to preserve the arm and the eye, he doesn't know that with kind of his godly chakra, he activated them all to probably some of them being able to go to Rinnegan. Like, it's how much he gave them. Like Shisui's eye itself just evolved to Eternal Mangekyo, the other ones just evolved to regular Mangekyos. Once realizing patterns, actually handed out Shisui's to Sasuke, telling him this eye should be more than enough to catch up to Itachi in power easily. And smiling before taking out one of his eyes and putting it in. But Naruto had a better idea. He destroyed the eye in Sasuke's hand before putting his hand on Sasuke's face, telling Sasuke this might hurt a lot. That's Sasuke said to do it, and Naruto should be infusing power into Sasuke's eyes, giving Sasuke the power of one Rinnegan. He evolved Sasuke's regular eye to that Rinnegan, and, well, its power itself is actually passing Hagoromo at this point, actually. She's not actually passing, but equal to Hagoromo. Actually able to do the same thing that Hagoromo can, giving Sasuke actual Rinnegan. Let's see Sasuke thank Naruto, and then again, the illusion's lifted, and Sasuke would realize what he just heard, realizing that Danzo's on the ground, kind of just paralyzed. Naruto asks Hirusen what he should do, and that's when he says, kill Danzo. But Sasuke pulls out his sword, cutting off Danzo's head, saying, there, it's done. Naruto asks about the arm, and Hirusen says Naruto what he should do, but Naruto then says he has an idea that could probably extend Hirusen's life and make him a bit younger. He brings Hirusen to a private basically room with only Kakashi, Asuma, Guy, Jiraiya. Tsunade was eventually dragged as well. Tsunade had to help with the surgery, but so does Orochimaru. And yeah. Once they're all in there, they begin performing surgery on Hirusen. After the surgery's finished, well, eventually, Danzo's arm kind of grafted onto Hirusen, or fused with it. Using his chakra, that he was able to kind of burn it down into more of a, I guess something atomical. Then he began infusing it into into Hirusen's body, and Hirusen's arm kind of turned into getting kind of pale color to it, but it will start on all over his arm, but they can actually be activated by will. They actually kind of blend into his arm. It's not like they're not even there. He doesn't need to wear a bandage at all times. And then eventually, well, with his chakra control, she doesn't need to have a lot of chakra for it. And then eventually Hirusen's body with his chakra in it, should be aging his body a bit younger. But you need the other surgeons to actually make sure that his body can still function properly. Because he's not a surgeon, but he can do decent healing. The body actually failed a bit, but they're actually able to bring it back to its full capacity. And now Hirusen's kind of put in his prime. His aging was a bit reversed due to Naruto's godly chakra. When Hirusen gets back up, realizing he's a bit younger, then they actually shocked at his look, saying, wow, with this, I think I could be a better Kage. Naruto smiling, then she asks Hirusen a big favor, saying, The root could be better, and he knows this. He wants to take Danzo's place as their leader. But the thing is, Naruto himself will be taking orders from Hiruzen, then expressing his will over the root, making sure that they do good things. Hiruzen agreed to this. Naruto then takes Danzo's place as the Shadow Hokage. With this, Naruto basically ends up putting Genjutsu under all the root, not Genjutsu, but illusion under all the root. Now that they're now under his control, he broke all the seals that Danzo had on them. So once all of them basically get the solution on them and the seal's broken, they are eventually fully restored, and yeah. So with this, eventually we move on to probably a bit past this, and we go on to, I'm gonna say probably just there's just kind of recruitment he's in the village now. He decides he wants to set those new powers to students, and actually wants to have a deal with them. If he beats Jiraiya actually lives in Konoha. If he beats Tsunade, she stays in Konoha too. He smirks, saying, "Go on, old man, I can beat you any day of the week." She goes 100 healings, the Sharingan kind of worrying her, but then Jiraiya would go in perfect stage mode as he fights all three of them, including Orochimaru, who's just going all out. After the fight ends after an hour, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru are on the ground beaten up, but he was just kind of panting as he climbs over a tree, saying, "That took a lot more out of me than I thought it would." And, well, Hiruzen just smiled at Naruto, saying, "This arm does wonders for me." Now, the arms that are kind of like on Sharingan that are kind of in Hiruzen's arm, with them being turned into atoms, making Hashirama cells, because that's what they were grafted on for. They're kind of basically pseudo internal Mangekyo Sharingan. They're kind of pseudo those, so they kind of have their own abilities fused with each other's. So Hiruzen's kind of arm things like a hive mind in terms of power, then fires it upon his students, and he's just really powerful with it. One Sharingan has the power of the whole arm, but then, let's check this real quick. So the 10 Sharingan are basically, well, the 10 Sharingan are both as powerful as, this 10 of each of these extra powerful arms. So yeah, so Hiruzen got a lot more powerful. But now with the hidden sound and the hidden sand basically just being one with the hidden leaf, now the hidden leaf owning them, the Land of Fire basically connected itself with the Land of Wind being forced under the control of the hidden leaf too. Pause real quick for another map. Alright, so you have this map of the Narutoverse. The Land of Fire is right here. It expands all the way to the country of Wind, and then expands in the country of Rice, which would be the hidden sound. That's all the hidden leaf territory. That's all of it. So yeah. It's because Naruto actually scared everyone to half to death. But Naruto was actually able to get Gaara to actually master Shaku and actually befriend him, as Naruto at the same time had befriended Kurama. Also, Hidden Leaf now establishes itself as the biggest village, as they even merge the village with the hidden sand. The whole miniature land that was in the middle of the Land of Fire and the Land of Wind, that whole area is just one giant village now for the Hidden Leaf. The Hidden Leaf village, that's like a giant shop now. It's the whole small country into one village. While the other remaining villages that were pretty big are now just like small merchant shops. Well, they're big merchant shops. That's kind of what they are. So yeah, so the Hidden Leaf's power just expanded massively. So not just kind of giving Shadow Hokage during this time. 3 times it would occur where Sasuke would eventually go out and find Itachi, as he actually kills Kisame, and then she brings Itachi back to Konoha, and Itachi's sickness is healed by Tsunade, and then he actually goes to get prison time, but not a lot of it, because Sasuke knows the whole truth. And she apologizes to Itachi for hating him for so long. But Itachi actually questions Sasuke about Danzo, if Danzo knows anything about Sasuke's Rinnegan or Eternal Mangekyo, and Sasuke says, yeah, but he's dead. Yes, who killed him, and then Sasuke then says Naruto killed him. He found out about everything and got pretty pissed off, and he tore out his eye and his arm, but then I cut off his head, so I killed him, but Naruto did all the work for me. Sasuke also asked about the root, but that's when Sasuke basically said the root are now better, and they do missions. They're mainly just bounty hunters, but they also do missions for Rasa and Hiruzen. Well, not Rasa anymore, but Gaara and Hiruzen now. There's 2 leaders of the village, being Gaara and Gaara and Hiruzen. So yeah, some people would be disorderly, then so would some people from the hidden leaf. The people from the hidden sound, they don't care as long as they get to live. So yeah, There's no need for a third leader, but there's 2 leaders to control each side from where everyone came from. So yeah, there's just 2 leaders to control everyone from each side. Eventually, over time, be 1 leader wherever everyone listen to. But yeah. Also, I want to tell you guys about like how big this village would be. So basically, for the hidden sand to the hidden leaf, or hidden leaf to the hidden sand, it'd be a 3-day journey. That's just them getting to that small country would be the most of the 3-day journey. So if you want to like just run from one side of the Konoha to the other, it take days possibly. That's how big the village is. It's like split up in sections, and one section from the other half. Like, if they're like halfway across the village from each other, it take like 1 or 2 days to get there. It's just how big it is. It's unnecessarily large. So yeah. But yeah. But Naruto realized Orochimaru's leaf has been turned over. He actually been helping him with his immortality search, and Naruto eventually said he can give him immortality if he wants to, and he gave Orochimaru immortality by kind of controlling his molecular structure. And when he did that, he actually gave Orochimaru the power that he has in Boruto. So Orochimaru's just that powerful. Orochimaru's whole quest is kind of just ended by one man. Which allowed Orochimaru to actually expand his power and knowledge into Tsunade, giving her the ability to stay young permanently without using any chakra. So actually, her 100 healings doesn't need to be used, actually. Her body's now functioning at 100% 24/7 with 100 times multiplier constantly activated. When with Naruto, Jiraiya actually had learned perfect sage mode, then Naruto had learned it himself as well. But then Naruto actually kind of forced... Richie was a bit more reluctant to this, while it was already kind of a whole thing where Mount Miboku was kind of allied with Konoha. Naruto kind of forced Richie Cave to be allied with Konoha. So they have a whole cave of summoning animals and a whole mountain of summoning animals. Mountain range of summoning animals on their side. And 2 of them are sages. But Naruto in the same also like learned Master Sage mode from the White Snake Sage. Like from him himself. Also Naruto's summoning animal Titan actually like in the midst of the Konoha being rebuilt. Not rebuilt, but I guess new Konoha is kind of what called new Konoha Gakure. Or New Hidden Leaf. It can be called New Hidden Leaf, New Hidden Sand, New Konoha, New Suna. But, yeah. In the midst of this, Raikage tried to actually launch an attack. Not something animal Titan fought them all off himself. Like he fought them all off, and then actually had used the Eye Beam to kill a majority of them. And A kind of got scared of this. So, yeah. And now the Akatsuki are actually kind of nervous to chase down the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki and the One-Tailed Jinchuriki. Despite Gaara missing an arm, he turned Naruto personally and even in Richie Cave. So yeah, so Gaara's perfect Jinchuriki, a potential sage candidate, and a student of the White Snake Sage. So yeah, Gaara's power is actually through the roof, being able to actually beat Sasori and Deidara without even using Shaku's power, just his own Rashinobi skill. So this is how strong Gaara is. In Hiruzen's arm, Hiruzen can fight off the whole Akatsuki by himself. Like, Hiruzen himself is possibly close in power to Obito. Possibly. All he did is grow in power over the years, even mastering, like Monkey Sage mode, giving him a tail and enhanced strength and speed, but also shooting out clones that don't take up any chakra. And these clones are just as powerful as him, and they know they're clones, so it doesn't matter at all. So, these clones are all powerful. But yeah. You move on after this to probably just the 3 times up ending. Sasuke actually determined to throw Orochimaru, so yeah. Also, Orochimaru is actually healed and is okay with being allied under 2 leaders. One of them not being Orochimaru, both of them not being Orochimaru actually, but still he's happy. Orochimaru's happy, he's happy. So with this, we move on to roughly I'm gonna say the Kazekage Ritual mission where Deidara and Sasori are launching an attack on Konoha, but Sasori is going all out against Konoha. But Chiyo kind of saw this coming because Naruto warned everyone about the Akatsuki members entering the Land of Fire. And, Chiyo was ready for the village. So, the moment that they began attacking, she launched out her puppet army, cutting down all Sasori's puppets the moment he launched them all out. And when it came to Deidara, we also see Sasuke appear in front of him before stabbing a sword through his chest and then yelling Chidori Senbone. Now, from inside his chest, Senbone, lightning shot out, going through his chest, going through the lightning thing. When Sasori himself was actually hunted down by Itachi, they actually was able to beat him up and knock him out. And not knock him out, actually, but just beat him up to the point where he's returned to I guess, Chiyo, and he's arrested. The further information that they needed on Tenchi Bridge wouldn't happen. Next arc would probably be, I think would be important, would be Akatsuki Expression for Asuma, Shikamaru, Choji, and all them. With how skilled these villages are now combined, everyone's a lot stronger than they were in canon. Even Asuma. Asuma actually has Enma as a summoning animal, but also training from Enma. So when it came to Asuma versus Hidan actually lost that fight. So yeah, Asuma is burned. That's really just it. So he beat Hidan, just didn't get stabbed in the chest. And Shikamaru is able to compare to Kakuzu as an equal in power and actually beat him. So yeah, he beat him. He didn't beat him by himself because Kakuzu's 5 hearts kind of put him at an advantage over Shikamaru. And when it came to the natures, well, he had a shield being Izumo Kotetsu using the summoning weapons, and they actually are able to take out 2 of the hearts. Shikamaru took out 3 of them, and he defeated Kakuzu. So yeah, they kind of ended the Akatsuki Expression mission, believing the pain attack. The thing is, Jiraiya, as he tried to infiltrate Hidden Rain, found out that Pain had left long ago with all 6 paths to New Konoha. So when the time the Pain arrived, he got stuck in the village, and he was actually under it. He had 1 path under it, and then all the other paths were actually reiterating, kind of just making hell go loose. Naruto actually happened to be traveling to the new 555 summit with Hiruzen as Hiruzen's guard, so Naruto's not there. But Sasuke and Itachi are. When Sasuke is like pretty strong here and even has Rinnegan, but the thing is he's not as skilled as using it as Pain is. So it may be like a fight that's pretty hard to, I guess, go against, but Pain is stronger than Itachi, and that's kind of just one thing I'm going to go over real quick. Itachi would be useful, the only difference is he's healthy. But still, Pain from underground, if he disrupted all of Konoha, actually kind of crushed one of Sasuke's legs under a piece of rubble, because where he was standing. Sasuke actually is now down 1 leg. Then Itachi basically ended up almost kind of getting knocked out by a falling piece of rubble, actually hit him back to the head, hard enough to actually knock him out, and make his head be cracked open. The 2 of the main powerhouses are just taken out, and immediately this leads to everyone needing to fight against him. But the thing is, Gaara actually plays actually exactly equal to Pain. For all 6 paths, he's an exactly equal, plus he has Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru. Tsunade's kind of busy using Lady Katsu to heal everyone. Plus actually fix Sasuke's leg, with Karin being able to help him a lot too. So Karin did a lot of the healing, but like Karin and Tsunade kind of helped reattach Sasuke's leg. But yeah. With this, they actually are able to actually defeat Passive Pain, but mainly Gaara and Jiraiya and Orochimaru defeat them. When it came to like Konoha, and she was taken out by Itachi when she was killed by Lady Katsu, just like one-shot her. So yeah. The pain attack was stopped the moment it began. Honestly, it was a good attack and actually worked out killing a few people actually. But the person given the jutsu was actually Itachi's genjutsu, and he used it. He used Renary Burst to actually heal everyone. But he actually promised Konoha before knocking her out that Naruto would be the one to bring world peace, even if he's not the Hokage. He'd be the one to actually pursue bringing world peace and no pain occurring. So Konoha does since she put all of her trust in Naruto. Given the body of Nagato, well, Itachi actually just got to Rinnegan, giving other one to Sasuke, asking if he could handle it. What Sasuke did is to destroy it. I think that they should destroy the other one too, and Itachi did destroy it. You know, Amaterasu, well, not Amaterasu did, but can actually ask Konoha what they should do with the bodies. Konoha says that she has an idea. It's kind of give him like a Viking kind of sail away where they kind of burn the bodies because like they'd be pushed out to sea. Bodies are burned, and then a giant statue is erected in the water. Not a giant one, but statues erected in the water just for the bodies of Nagato and Yayiko. They kind of put all the names of fallen shinobi in this attack. Not all of them, not fallen shinobi in the attack, but kind of fallen shinobi throughout the years on this thing. This thing actually contain the ones that are also in the park that Kakashi can actually visit too. So one difference is the Land of Waves had heard about the expansion of Konoha, or basically the Land of Fire actually asked to join it, and they were put under the Land of Fire Alliance. So yeah, the 5K Summit, Obito does interrupt, only fight Naruto and lose horribly. So that's how I get over. Like Obito fought Naruto and lost. It was a god awful thing, but A saw how skilled Naruto was. One thing Obito wasn't expecting is that Naruto kind of shot a whole tendril through the Kamui dimension, grabbing Obito and almost killing him. Obito came back only to have the tendril still be there and beat him up while he tries to go through. So he has to be beaten up in the real world or in the Kamui dimension, and got both hands and just lost the fight, only to have his eyes torn out, or his eye torn out. But he then put in the Konoha prison, and well, it's rebuilt with help of Yamato and Naruto, and just all the people in the village. So yeah, with that Konoha's kind of built back up, and the Akatsuki are also Well, kind of he Kisame is dead because Sasuke killed him during 3 time skip. Itachi's an ally at Konoha. Nagato's dead. Konan is under arrest. Sasori and Deidara, well, Sasori is under arrest. Deidara's dead. Hidan's buried. Kakuzu's dead. Zetsu, we don't know what he can do yet. Well, we do know, but he can't do anything. The best he can do is kidnap Yamato, and that's really just it. And that won't do a thing because they have a whole. You know how big the 1,000-armed Buddha is? No, Naruto's Titan something is that big, and we can just one shot that whole thing. And even if Zetsu kidnapping Yamato if that did happen, Garou Moon's the White Snake Sage, Titan, they can handle that thing. It's not as strong as Hashirama's. So yeah, just Titan handled it himself with 1 punch, and that's really just it. But Akatsuki's then just kind of gets hit by Chibaku Tensei. So we kind of ended up having Zetsu try to kidnap Yamato, but the whole thing, when he did, it kind of failed to fail 1 punch from Titan. With that, we kind of ended the whole Naruto Shippuden thing. Actually, he was to retire as Kage, but pretend that Naruto was like 25. At age 25, Naruto became Hokage, and to take over the route, we actually get Itachi. Naruto and Hinata got married, having Boruto and Himawari. We can move on past that to just, I guess Momoshiki, but honestly, when it came to Sasuke fighting them, with how skilled he is actually now, he's actually able to defeat Kinshiki, but retreats eventually. When he retreats and the Chunin games go on, Momoshiki would arrive to attack Sasuke, but then gets beat up by base Naruto, not even powering up a bit. So everyone got to see how strong Hokage is after not seeing him fight at all. Like, the time they do see him fight was just him using summoning animals. All I thought was that his summonings were really powerful because they never see him use violence. He's actually a pretty peaceful guy. They see him just uses taijutsu, and he just beats the life out of Momoshiki. Like, Boruto didn't believe Sasuke, and Sasuke said that he can't stand a chance against the Hokage, but he thought that was just Sasuke bluffing. But no, he's right. He can't stand a chance. But now with this, we move on to Jigen, and Jigen honestly gets one tap by Naruto. When Naruto appeared, he shoved his fist just right through Jigen's back and killed him. Here, Jigen has no chance of reviving, even if it's Kawaki that is a seal that the Naruto can remove. So yeah, Naruto can remove karma seals because Boruto doesn't have one, but Naruto has the power to remove them. So he actually was able to, after like a few hours, was able to remove Kawaki's karma seal. So Jigen or Ishiki can't come back. Well, he launched an all-out attack between like everything that was related to Kara, and they do that, defeating all members of Kara. But how strong Boruto is from training with Sasuke and Naruto, he appears to be an attack equal for Boro and defeats him by himself. But it did take out all his energies to kill him, so. So with this, we kind of end the whole Boruto anime now, and the manga. So if you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe for another What If like this. Also, kill Naruto. He's obviously above planetary. Adios.